I want to share with you the most profound secret of manifestation. A secret so powerful that once understood will revolutionize your entire approach to life. Many of you come to me asking why your manifestations are delayed, why your desires seem to take so long to materialize in your world. Tonight, I shall reveal to you why, and more importantly, how to manifest your desires with lightning speed. Let me begin by sharing a principle that most of the world has completely misunderstood. In the book of John, it is written, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God." Now, what is this word? This word, my dear wonderful friends, is not something spoken by your physical lips. The word is your inner conversation, your mental dialogue that runs ceaselessly through your mind day and night. You see, most people are manifesting slowly or not at all because they fail to grasp this fundamental truth. Your inner conversation is the cause of everything in your world. Everything. Not some things, not most things, but all things. When you truly understand this, you will begin to manifest with such rapidity that others will call it miraculous. Let me share with you a story that came to me just last week. A lady approached me after one of my lectures, her eyes filled with tears. She had been trying to manifest a reunion with her estranged son for 3 years. She had tried everything, affirmations, visualization, even traveling across the country to see him, but he refused to meet her. After attending my lectures and understanding this principle of inner conversation, she realized that her constant inner dialogue was, "Why won't my son talk to me? What did I do wrong? Will he ever forgive me?" Do you see what she was doing? She was perpetuating the very state of separation through her inner conversation. I instructed her to change her inner dialogue to how wonderful it is to talk to my son every day. How lovely it is to hear his voice filled with love for me. Within 1 week, yes, just 1 week, her son called her. Not only did he call, but he apologized for his behavior and expressed his desire to rebuild their relationship. This, my dear friends, is the secret that accelerates manifestation. Your inner conversation must match the state you wish to occupy. There must be no contradiction between what you desire and what you internally hear yourself saying about that desire. Now, let me take you deeper into this mystery. In the book of Matthew, it is written, "For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also." Your treasure is not your desire. Your treasure is your inner conversation about your desire. If you claim to want financial abundance, but your inner dialogue is constantly repeating, "I never have enough money. Everything is so expensive. I can't afford this," then that conversation is your real treasure. And that is exactly what you will manifest. The speed of manifestation is directly proportional to the consistency of your inner conversation. When you maintain an inner dialogue that aligns perfectly with your desire, without contradiction, without doubt, without wavering, manifestation must follow as naturally as day follows night. Some of you might be thinking, But Neville, I try to maintain positive thoughts, yet my inner conversation seems to have a mind of its own. Here is where most seekers stumble. They try to force their inner conversation, to control it through willpower. This is not the way. The secret lies in understanding that your inner conversation is not something to be forced, but something to be assumed. When you truly assume a state, the inner conversation appropriate to that state flows naturally. If you are wealthy, truly wealthy in consciousness, you don't need to force yourself to think wealthy thoughts. The inner dialogue of wealth flows spontaneously because it is natural to the state you have assumed. Let me make this practical for you. Tonight, when you go to sleep, I want you to do something revolutionary. Instead of trying to visualize your desire or repeating affirmations, I want you to simply listen to your inner conversation. Don't try to change it yet. Just listen. Become aware of what you are internally saying about yourself, your life, your desires, your relationships, your finances. This awareness is crucial because what you will discover is that your current inner conversation is a perfect match for your current life circumstances. Every detail of your life right now is a manifestation of your habitual inner dialogue. This is why some people can visualize for hours, affirm until they're blue in the face, yet see no results. Their inner conversation is contradicting everything they're trying to manifest. The secret to rapid manifestation lies in this understanding. Change the inner conversation and you change the outer world. And this is crucial, you must change it naturally by assuming the state of your wish fulfilled. When you assume the state, the appropriate inner dialogue flows without effort. Here's a profound truth that few understand. Your inner conversation is not just about the specific words you say to yourself. It's about the feeling tone behind those words. When you assume the state, the feeling of that state gives birth to natural, effortless, inner talking that matches the state. Consider a woman who wants to be married. She might repeat affirmations like, I am happily married 1,000 times. But if her inner conversation throughout the day is filled with loneliness, questioning when love will come, or expressing doubt about finding the right person, those are the conditions she is actually manifesting. But when she assumes the state of the happily married woman, her inner conversation naturally includes remarks like, my husband always does the sweetest things. I love cooking our favorite meals together. These conversations flow effortlessly because they are natural to the state she has assumed. This brings me to another crucial point about rapid manifestation. In the book of Revelation, it is written, I am the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end. This is not speaking of some external deity. This is speaking of your consciousness, your I am. Your inner conversation is how you use this creative power of I am. Every time you engage in inner dialogue, you are defining who I am is. When you say internally, I am struggling. I am trying to manifest. I am waiting for my desire. You are creating those very conditions. The secret to rapid manifestation is to engage in the inner conversation of the state fulfilled, not the state desired. Let me give you a warning here. Many of you will be tempted to monitor your inner conversation constantly, trying to catch every negative thought. This is not what I'm advocating. Such an approach creates tension and resistance, which only slows down manifestation. Instead, simply assume the state of your wish fulfilled and let the natural inner conversation of that state flow. Now, let me share with you something even more profound about this secret. In the book of Job, it is written, "For what I feared has come upon me. What I dreaded has happened to me." This is not just ancient wisdom. This is a precise description of how your inner conversation creates your reality. Your fears, your worries, the things you dread, these are not merely passive thoughts. They are powerful inner conversations that manifest with the same certainty as your desire. This is why I tell you that no one worry you. When others speak of recession, of difficult times, of impossibilities, you must understand that their conversations have no power in your world unless you accept them into your inner dialogue. The only creative power is your own inner conversation. I recall a gentleman who attended my lectures in New York. He was a businessman who had heard countless experts predicting a downturn in his industry. Everyone was preparing for failure, cutting costs, laying off workers. But this gentleman understood the secret of inner conversation. While others spoke of decline, his inner dialogue remained steadfast. My business is thriving. My customers are abundant, but opportunities are flowing to me from every direction. His colleagues called him delusional, unrealistic. Yet within 3 months, while other businesses struggled, his company experienced its most profitable quarter ever. Was this a coincidence? No, my dear friends. It was the law in operation. His inner conversation created a state of consciousness that had to objectify itself in his world. Here is another secret that will accelerate your manifestations. Your inner conversation must not only match your desire, it must transcend time. Notice how most people's inner dialogue is always about the future. I will be successful. I will find love. Things will get better. This very conversation pushes their desires perpetually into the future. The secret is to have an inner conversation that speaks from the in, as though your desire is already fulfilled. In the book of Isaiah, it states, "Before they call, I will answer." This is not about some external God answering prayers. This is about the law of consciousness. Your inner conversation of the wish fulfilled is the answer. And it precedes the physical manifestation. Let me be very specific about this. If you desire financial abundance, your inner conversation should not be, "Money is coming to me," or "I am attracting wealth." These conversations, though seemingly positive, still speak from a place of lack. Instead, your inner dialogue should be that of a wealthy person. I love how easily money flows in my life. It's wonderful having more than enough to share. I enjoy choosing the best of everything. Some of you might argue, but Neville, isn't this denying reality? Isn't this lying to ourselves? Let me address this once and for all. What you call reality is simply the outer picturing of past inner conversations. Your current circumstances, which seem so solid and real, are nothing more than yesterday's inner talking made visible. In the book of Hebrews, it is written, through faith we understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Replace word of God with inner conversation, and you have the exact law I'm revealing to you tonight. The things which are seen, your current circumstances, were created by the invisible power of your inner dialogue. Let me share another experience that demonstrates this principle perfectly. A young teacher came to me in despair. She had been assigned the most challenging class in her school, students known for being disruptive and unmanageable. Her inner conversation was filled with dread. These students won't listen. This year will be a nightmare. I can't handle this class. I explained to her the secret of inner conversation. She began to change her internal dialogue too. My students are engaged and eager to learn. I love how respectful and cooperative my class is. Teaching this class brings me joy every day. She maintained this new inner conversation faithfully, even when external circumstances seemed to contradict it. Within 2 weeks, she noticed subtle changes. Students who had never participated began raising their hands. Disruptions became less frequent. By the end of the month, her class had transformed so dramatically that other teachers came to observe what they called her teaching magic. But it wasn't magic. It was the law of inner conversation in action. Now, here's another crucial aspect of this secret that few understand. Your inner conversation is not limited to your own life circumstances. When you engage in inner dialogue about others, you are influencing how they appear in your world. This is why the Bible instructs us to love our enemies and bless those who curse us. These are not moral instructions. They are practical, metaphysical laws. If someone in your world appears hostile or unpleasant, check your inner conversation about them. Are you internally rehearsing their faults? Are you mentally arguing with them? Are you replaying negative interactions? This inner dialogue is creating and sustaining their behavior in your experience. Change your inner conversation about them, and you change their behavior toward you. This is not manipulation. This is the correct use of the law. Everyone in your world is yourself pushed out. Their behavior toward you is simply the manifestation of your inner conversation about them. I had a lady write to me about a difficult mother-in-law. For years, their relationship had been strained, filled with criticism and tension. Every time she thought about her mother-in-law, her inner dialogue was, she's always judging me. She'll never accept me. She makes my life miserable. I instructed her to change this inner conversation to, my mother-in-law is so loving and supportive. We enjoy such wonderful times together. She practiced this faithfully. Even though her external circumstances showed no immediate change, but within a month, her mother-in-law's attitude began to shift. Small gestures of kindness appeared. Criticism turned to compliments. Today, They share a loving relationship that amazes the entire family. This transformation wasn't about changing her mother-in-law. It was about changing her inner conversation about her mother-in-law. Now, let me reveal to you an even deeper aspect of this secret that will accelerate your manifestations beyond anything you've previously experienced. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it is written, "To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven." Many interpret this literally, thinking they must wait for the right time for their manifestations. But I tell you truly, time is a creation of your inner conversation. When your inner dialogue constantly speaks of waiting, of process, of gradual improvement, you create time between you and your desire. This is why so many remain stuck in the state of becoming rather than being. Their inner conversation is always about the journey, never the arrival. They say, "I'm getting better. I'm working towards my goal. I'm making progress." While these seem positive, they are actually creating perpetual delay. Let me share with you a profound truth. In imagination, where all creation takes place, there is no time. This is why the Bible speaks of God as the eternal I am, not the I will be. Your inner conversation must reflect this timeless nature of consciousness. Instead of saying internally, "My business is growing," say, "I am perfectly healthy now." A gentleman once approached me after experiencing years of financial struggle. His inner conversation was filled with statements like, "Things are getting better. I'm moving towards prosperity. My debts are gradually decreasing." I explained to him that this very conversation was creating the experience of gradual change, of endless becoming. He shifted his inner dialogue to speak from the end. "I love having more than enough." The results were immediate and startling. Within days, unexpected opportunities appeared. A long-forgotten investment suddenly paid off. A new business partnership emerged that transformed his financial situation completely. What others called coincidence, we know as law. Here's another crucial aspect of this secret. Your inner conversation must be anchored in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Many attempt to change their inner dialogue mechanically, repeating new statements without the corresponding feeling tone. This is why their manifestations are slow and non-existent. In the book of Psalms, it says, "Delight thyself also in the Lord, and he shall give thee the desires of thine heart." This delight is the feeling tone that must accompany your inner conversation. When your internal dialogue naturally flows from the joy of having your desire fulfilled, manifestation is instantaneous. Consider a woman who desires marriage. Her inner conversation might be technically positive. "I am married to a wonderful man." But if these words lack the feeling of being happily married, they remain hollow and powerless. When she assumes the feeling of being a beloved wife, her inner dialogue naturally flows with statements like, "I love cooking dinner with my husband. Our evening walks together are so precious. I'm so blessed to share my life with my soulmate." These words carry the feeling tone of the wish fulfilled. Let me share something even more profound about this secret. Your inner conversation extends beyond your waking hours. The thoughts and dialogues that occupy your mind as you fall asleep are particularly powerful. This is why the Psalms instruct us to commune with your own heart upon your bed and be still. Most people fall asleep rehearsing the problems of their day or worrying about tomorrow. Their inner conversation during these crucial moments is creating more of what they don't want. Instead, as you fall asleep, let your inner dialogue be from the state of your wish fulfilled. Let it be natural, easy, reflecting the joy of already having what you desire. I recall a man who had been seeking a specific position in his company for years. Every night he would fall asleep thinking about how to get the promotion, what he needed to do, who he needed to impress. His inner conversation was always about seeking, never about having. I instructed him to change his preparatory sleep conversation. Instead of planning and strategizing, he was to fall asleep each night with the inner dialogue of already being in that position. His new inner conversation included casual remarks like, "It's wonderful having this responsibility. I love leading this department. My team is exceptional." Within 2 weeks, not only was he promoted to the position he desired, but he was given even more responsibility and compensation than he had imagined possible. Now, let me address something that many of you struggle with: the appearance of failure or delay in your manifestations. When things seem to be going wrong, when circumstances appear to contradict your desire, your inner conversation becomes crucial. Most people allow their internal dialogue to be dictated by circumstances. This is the exact opposite of how the law works. In the book of Romans, it is written, "Call those things which be not as though they were." This is not positive thinking. This is the revelation of how consciousness creates reality. Your inner conversation must call forth the reality you desire, regardless of appearances. A lady who was manifesting perfect health while dealing with a chronic condition. Instead of allowing her inner dialogue to focus on symptoms or medical reports, she maintained a conversation of perfect health. "My body is strong and vital. Every cell in my body is functioning perfectly. I am the picture of health." Her doctors were amazed when her condition completely reversed, defying their prognosis. This brings me to another vital aspect of rapid manifestation. Your inner conversation must be protected from the doubts and negativity of others. When others speak of impossibilities, when they point to reality or facts, you must maintain your inner conversation is so vital. In the book of Proverbs, it states, "Guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life." Your heart, your consciousness, is your inner conversation. When you allow external voices to influence your internal dialogue, you give away your creative power. I remember a remarkable case of a young artist who came to me in despair. Gallery owners had rejected her work, critics had dismissed her talent, and her family insisted she find a real job. But she understood this secret. Instead of allowing their voices to become her inner conversation, she maintained an internal dialogue of success. My art touches people deeply. Collectors value my work. My exhibitions are always successful. She told me later that maintaining this inner conversation felt like standing firm in a storm of contrary opinions. But she persisted. Within months, a prestigious gallery owner discovered her work. Today, her paintings command significant prices, and critics who once dismissed her now praise her unique vision. What changed? Not her talent. That was always there. What changed was her inner conversation. Here's another crucial aspect of this secret that few understand. Your inner conversation must be faithful to your assumption. If you assume the state of wealth, but your internal dialogue still speaks of budgeting, saving, and financial caution, you are being unfaithful to your assumption. This divided inner conversation creates delayed and mixed manifestations. In the book of James, it says, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. This double-mindedness is not about having doubts. It's about maintaining contradictory inner conversations. You cannot speak internally as both the wealthy and the wanting, the healthy and the sick, the loved and the lonely. You must choose your state and let your inner conversation be faithful to it completely. Consider this profound truth. Every moment of your day is an opportunity to align your inner conversation with your desired state. When you shop, does your internal dialogue speak of prices and affordability, or does it naturally discuss preferences and choices? When you dine out, does your inner conversation concern itself with the cost of the menu, or does it focus on the pleasure of the experience? These seemingly small moments of inner dialogue are actually crucial turning points in your manifestation. Every internal word either aligns with your desire or contradicts it. There is no neutral inner conversation. Let me share one final secret about rapid manifestation that will transform your understanding completely. Your inner conversation is not just about words. It's about the consciousness from which those words spring. When you truly assume a state, the inner conversation appropriate to that state flows naturally, without effort or practice. This is why attempting to monitor and control every thought is unnecessary and counterproductive. Instead, occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, and the right inner conversation will flow spontaneously. This is what the Bible means when it says, "Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus." It's speaking of assuming the state of your wish fulfilled, from which all appropriate thoughts and internal dialogues naturally flow. I knew a man who struggled with relationships. He tried to change his inner conversation about love and partnership, but it felt forced and unnatural. Then he understood this principle. Instead of trying to change his thoughts, he assumed the state of being happily married. From this state, his inner conversation naturally shifted. He no longer had to remind himself to think positive thoughts about relationships. The internal dialogue of a happily married man flowed effortlessly from his assumed state. Within months, he met and married a wonderful woman. But here's the crucial point. The meeting and marriage weren't the miracle. The natural shift in his inner conversation was the miracle. The external circumstances simply conformed to his new state of consciousness. Now, as we conclude tonight's discussion, I want to impress upon you this final truth. Dialogue is defining your self-concept, and your self-concept determines what you manifest in your world. When you understand this, truly understand it, you will never again worry about circumstances, conditions, or the opinions of others. You will know that your inner conversation is the only creative power, and you will use it wisely and deliberately. Tonight, as you leave here, I urge you to begin this practice immediately. Don't wait for a perfect moment. Don't prepare yourself. Simply begin now to listen to your inner conversation, and then naturally let it flow from the state of your wish fulfilled. Let your internal dialogue be that of the person who already has what you desire. Remember, secret I've shared with you tonight is not new. It's as old as consciousness itself. But its power is as fresh and available now as it has ever been. Your inner conversation is creating your reality at this very moment. Use it wisely. Use it lovingly. Use it deliberately. For in the end, there is no one to change but self. And self is changed by the transformation of your inner conversation. The world around you, which appears so solid and real, is nothing more than your inner conversation made visible. Change the conversation and you change everything. And now, knowing this secret, go forth and prove it in the laboratory of your own life. For as it is written, according to your faith be it unto you. Your faith is your inner conversation, and it will not fail you. That is the law, and that is the promise.
Let me tell you a great truth that most of the world has yet to comprehend. You are not what you appear to be. You are not this limited mortal being trapped in circumstances. You are all imagination, and imagination is God. Therefore, you are God in the most literal sense, temporarily occupying a garment of flesh to experience your own wonderful creation. And just as God can speak worlds into existence, you too possess this same creative power to speak your world into being. Now, I know this may seem fantastic to some of you, but I am not here to theorize or philosophize. I am here to share with you what I know to be true through my own experience and the experiences of countless others who have applied this law. The transformation you seek in 2025 is not something that will happen to you. It is something that must happen within you first. Consider this: when you go to your home tonight and prepare for sleep, you will naturally disappear from this world of Caesar. Your physical body will rest, but your consciousness, your true self, remains ever active, ever aware. This simple act of daily disappearance holds the key to your transformation. For in that state between waking and sleeping lies the most fertile soil for planting the seeds of your desires. Let me tell you exactly what I mean. When you desire to transform any aspect of your life, you must first learn to disappear from your current state of consciousness. Just as you naturally disappear from this world when you sleep, you must learn to disappear from your present concept of self. This is not a metaphor. I am speaking of an actual psychological technique that, when mastered, will transform your entire life with mathematical precision. Now let us delve deeper into this principle. The Bible, which is not a historical document but a psychological drama, tells us, "Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." This transformation is not something that happens gradually through external effort. It happens instantly when you succeed in disappearing from your current state of consciousness and occupying the state of your wish fulfilled. Think of it this way: right now you hold a certain concept for yourself. You may see yourself as lacking in some way, perhaps financially limited or unfulfilled in your relationships, or restricted in your career. This self-concept feels solid and real because you have given it life through your attention and belief. But I tell you, it is nothing more than a garment you have worn so long you have forgotten it. It's not your true self. The secret to transformation in 2025 lies not in adding something new to your current state, but in completely disappearing from it. You must die to your present concept of self. And this death is not a physical death, but a psychological one. It is the complete abandonment of all that you now consider yourself to be. Let me share with you a simple but powerful technique. Tonight, when you lay your head upon your pillow, instead of reviewing the day's events or worrying about tomorrow, consciously choose to disappear from your present circumstances. Feel yourself sink deeper and deeper into the awareness of being who you wish to be. Do not think of how you will become this person. That is the old way of thinking that keeps you bound to your current state. Instead, yield completely to the feeling of being your desired self. If you wish to be wealthy, feel the naturalness of wealth. If you seek perfect health, feel the lightness and vitality of a perfectly healthy body. If you desire a loving relationship, feel the warmth and security of being deeply loved. The secret is to persist in this feeling until it becomes more real to you than your physical surroundings. You see, in 2025, you are not trying to change things in the world of Caesar. You are claiming your rightful place as the operant power of your universe. The outer world, no matter how solid it appears, is nothing more than a shadow, a reflection of your inner assumptions. Change the assumption, and you change the reflection. This is the law. I am reminded of a lady who came to me in dire circumstances. She was facing financial ruin, her relationships were in shambles, and her health was failing. She asked me what she should do to change her life. I told her exactly what I'm telling you now. Disappear completely from that state. She looked at me bewildered, expecting some complex system of affirmations or external actions. But I told her, your outer world is nothing more than your inner conversations objectify. Change your inner conversation, and you change everything. She began to practice this principle. Each night before sleep, she would disappear completely from her troubled state and assume the feeling of being the person she wished to be. She would feel the satisfaction of financial abundance, the joy of harmonious relationships, the vitality of perfect health. Within 3 months, her entire world transformed. Money came to her through unexpected channels. Her relationships healed in ways she could never have planned, and her health restored itself naturally. This was not coincidence or luck. It was the perfect working of law. Now, some of you might be thinking, but Neville, my circumstances are different. You don't understand my particular situation? I tell you, circumstances do not matter. Your current situation, no matter how desperate or seemingly permanent, is nothing more than a shadow cast by your previous assumptions. Change the assumption, and the shadow must change. In 2025, you must learn to distinguish between what Blake called the reality and its shadow. Your true reality is not what your senses show you. It is what your imagination claims it to be. The world of Caesar, with all its limitations and problems, is merely a shadow. You are the light casting that shadow, and you can change it at will by changing your conception of self. Let me give you a specific technique for this transformation. I call it the art of assumption. When you wish to transform any aspect of your life, you must first ask yourself, how would I feel if I were already the person I wish to be? Then, in that quiet moment before sleep, you must generate that feeling with all the intensity you can muster. Do not worry about the how. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to remain faithful to the feeling of your wish fulfilled. The infinite intelligence within you, call it God, call it your subconscious mind, call it what you will, knows exactly how to bring about the conditions necessary for the fulfillment of your desire. Remember, in 2025, you are not trying to make things happen. You are allowing them to happen by assuming the right state of consciousness. This is why I tell you to disappear from your present state. As long as you remain mentally tied to your current circumstances, trying to improve them or fight against them, you perpetuate them. Consider the story of the prodigal son. This parable is not about a wayward youth who physically returned home. It is about consciousness returning to its rightful state. The far country where he wasted his substance is the state of consciousness where you currently find yourself if you are not experiencing your desires. The Father's house where there is abundance and joy is the state of consciousness you wish to occupy. The journey home is not a physical journey, but a psychological one. It is the journey of disappearing from one state of consciousness and appearing in another. And just as the father in the parable did not ask where the son had been or what he had done, your own wonderful human imagination does not care about your past or your present circumstances. It only responds to what you are conscious of being now. In 2025, you must learn to be ruthless with yourself in this regard. When you catch yourself thinking from your old state of consciousness, thinking thoughts of limitation or lack, you must immediately disappear from that state. Do not fight these thoughts. Fighting them gives them power. Simply withdraw your attention from them and place it fully on the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is what the scripture means when it says, leave the dead to bury their dead. Your old states of consciousness, your old problems and limitations are the dead. Let them bury themselves. Your task is to occupy the new state, to live from the assumption that what you desire is already yours. Now let me share with you another vital aspect of this transformation. Your outer world is nothing more than your inner conversations objectified. What are you saying to yourself throughout the day? What mental conversations do you carry on with others? These conversations, these inner debates and discussions are creating your future experiences. In 2025, you must become aware of these inner conversations and deliberately change them to align with your desires. If you wish to be wealthy, what kinds of conversations would you have if you were already wealthy? If you seek perfect health, what would your inner dialogue be if you were already in perfect health? Begin now to have these conversations internally. This is not pretense or self-deception. This is the actual creative process by which your world is formed. Your inner conversations are the breeding ground of your future experiences. Change the conversation and you change the experience. This is law. Remember, the Bible tells us, in the beginning was the Word. This is not referring to spoken words, but to your inner speech, your self-talk, your mental conversations. These are the words that create your world. In 2025, become conscious of these conversations and deliberately choose ones that imply the fulfillment of your desires. Let me tell you of a gentleman who came to me seeking to transform his career. He was stuck in a position he hated, feeling trapped and unable to advance. I told him to change his inner conversations about his work. Instead of mentally complaining about his current position, he began to have inner conversations implying he was already in his desired position. He would mentally hear congratulations from colleagues, discusses new responsibilities with imaginary co-workers, feels the satisfaction of doing work he loved. Within weeks, an opportunity appeared that perfectly matched his desires. This was not coincidence, it was the law in operation. Now, some of you might be wondering about timing. You might be thinking, how long will this take? When will I see results? I tell you, time is purely psychological. What seems to take months or years in Caesar's world can happen in an instant when you succeed in reaching the right state of consciousness. In 2025, you must learn to live in the end. The end is the feeling of your wish fulfilled. When you truly capture this feeling and maintain it, time dissolves. The events and circumstances necessary for the manifestation of your desire will unfold naturally and effortlessly. This is why I tell you to disappear from your present state. As long as you are conscious of time, as long as you are waiting for something to happen, you are not living in the end. You are still caught in the consciousness of absence, of wanting, of seeking. This consciousness can only create more wanting, more seeking. Instead, assume the consciousness of already being what you wish to be. Feel it so intensely that it crowds out all other thoughts and feelings. This is what it means to pray without ceasing, to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled regardless of appearances. Remember the words of Scripture before they call, I will answer. This means that the fulfillment of your desire already exists. It is not something to be created. It is something to be claimed through your assumption of the right state of consciousness. In 2025, you must learn to trust this process completely. Do not be like doubting Thomas, needing to see before you believe. Be like the Master who said, blessed are those who have not seen and yet believed. Your imagination, fed by your assumption and sustained by your inner conversations, is creating your future now. Let me give you another technique for this transformation. I call it revision. Each night before you sleep, review the events of your day. But do not review them as they occurred. Revise them to match your desired state of being. See them happening in a way that implies the fulfillment of your desires. This is not merely positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is actively engaging your creative power to reshape your world. When you revise an event, you are actually changing the seed from which future events will grow. This is why the Scripture says the former things shall not be remembered or come into mind. In 2025, make revision a daily practice. If you had an unpleasant encounter, revise it to be harmonious. If you faced a financial setback, revise it to show abundance. If you experienced any lack or limitation, revise it to demonstrate fulfillment and expansion. Do this faithfully, and you will be amazed at how your world begins to transform. Remember, you are not trying to change things, you are changing yourself. When you change your concept of self, when you succeed in occupying a new state of consciousness, the outer world must change to reflect this inner transformation. This is law. Let me tell you of another success story. A woman came to me in deep depression. She had lost her job, her savings were depleted, and she felt completely worthless. I taught her this principle of revision. Each night she would revise her day to show herself as successful, prosperous, and deeply fulfilled. At first it seemed mechanical, even foolish to her, but she persisted. Within weeks, her entire world began to shift. Opportunities appeared that she could never have planned. People from her past contacted her with profitable ventures. Her bank account began to grow. Most importantly, her feeling of worthlessness disappeared completely. This transformation didn't happen because she changed things in the outer world. It happened because she successfully disappeared from her old state of consciousness and occupied a new one. The outer changes were simply the shadow adjusting to match the new light. In 2025, you must become aware of another crucial principle. Everyone in your world is yourself pushed out. Every person you encounter is simply playing the part that your consciousness has assigned them. Change your consciousness, and they must change their behavior toward you. This is why it's futile to try to change others or to blame them for your circumstances. They are simply reflecting back to you your own state of consciousness. When you successfully disappear from a state of consciousness that attracts negative experiences, the people in your world must either change their behavior or disappear from your life. Remember, consciousness is the only reality. Everything else, people, circumstances, events, are simply shadows cast by your consciousness. Change the consciousness and the shadows must change. This is not theory, this is law. Let me share with you one final technique for your transformation in 2025. I call it the congratulatory scene. Select a scene that would imply the fulfillment of your desire. Make it a scene where someone is congratulating you on having achieved your goal. Feel the handshake, hear the words of congratulation, experience the joy of achievement. Make this scene so vivid, so real, that when you open your eyes, you will feel as though it actually happened. Do this night after night until the feeling of achievement becomes your dominant feeling. This is not visualization or positive thinking. This is entering into a state of consciousness where your desire is already fulfilled. When you succeed in making this state feel natural to you, when you can live and move and have your being in it, your outer world must reshape itself to match this inner conviction. In 2025, you must learn to trust this process completely. Do not be concerned with the how. Do not try to make things happen. Simply occupy the right state of consciousness and let the infinite intelligence within you bring about the manifestation in its own perfect way. Remember, the outside world is dead, subsisting only on the life you give it through your attention and belief. Withdraw your attention from unwanted conditions. Give your full attention and allegiance to your desired state. Live from that state, think from that state, speak from that state. Your transformation in 2025 is not something that will happen to you. It is something that must happen within you. When you successfully disappear from your current state of consciousness and fully occupy the state of your wish fulfilled, the outer world has no choice but to transform itself accordingly. This is the law, and the law does not fail. It operates with mathematical precision. Your task is simply to apply it faithfully, persistently, until your desired state becomes your natural state. Then you will understand the truth of the statement, all things are possible to him who believes. Tonight, as you prepare for sleep, remember this: you are all imagination. The world you experience is simply your imagination pushed out. In 2025, claim your rightful place as the operant power in your universe. Disappear completely from states of lack and limitation. Occupy fully the state of your wish fulfilled. Do this faithfully, persist in it. And I promise you, your world must transform to match your new conception of self. This is not magic, not positive thinking, not wishful dreaming. This is the law of consciousness in operation, and it never fails. Let this be your practice in 2025. Die daily to your old self, to your old concepts and limitations. Be born anew each day in the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Live from that consciousness. Think from it. Speak from it. Do this, and you will experience the truth of the statement, all things work together for good to them that love God. And remember, God is your own wonderful human imagination. The transformation you seek is already complete in the imagination of God, your imagination. Your task is simply to enter into that completion, to occupy it fully, to live from it faithfully. Do this, and watch your world transform in ways you could never have planned or anticipated. For in 2025, you are not seeking to add something new to your life. You are claiming what is already yours by divine. Imagine for a moment that you are standing at the threshold of a new life. a life so vibrant, so filled with purpose and joy that it seems almost unreal. Yet here you are, poised to step into this magnificent reality. This very moment, as you listen to these words, is the pivot point upon which your entire existence is about to turn. You may ask, how can this be? How can a simple video, a collection of words and images, herald such a profound transformation in my life? The answer, my dear listeners, lies not in the video itself, but in the power that resides within you, a power so vast, so limitless, that it can reshape the very fabric of your reality. Consider this: every great change, every monumental shift in the course of human history began with a single thought. A thought that took root in the fertile soil of imagination, nurtured by the unwavering belief of its thinker. This video, this message, is that seed of thought for you. It has found you at precisely the right moment, when you are ready to embrace the extraordinary potential that has always existed within you. Let us delve deeper into this concept. The world you see around you, the circumstances of your life, the very essence of your being, all of these are but reflections of your inner state. They are the manifestations of your deepest beliefs and assumptions about yourself in the world. And just as a mirror faithfully reflects whatever stands before it, your outer world reflects the state of your inner world. Now imagine for a moment that you could change that inner world, that you could, through the power of your imagination and the strength of your belief, reshape your inner landscape. What would happen then? Inevitably, inexorably, your outer world would begin to shift, to realign itself with this new inner reality. This, my friends, is the great secret that has been hidden in plain sight throughout the ages. The sages and mystics of every culture have spoken of it, often in veiled terms. But today, we shall speak plainly, for the time for obscurity has passed. You are creators, each and every one of you. Creators not just of art or music or literature, but of your very lives, of the world you inhabit. But how, you may ask, can we harness this creative power? How can we shape our inner world with such precision and potency that our outer world has no choice but to conform? The answer lies in a practice so simple, yet so profound, that its true power is often overlooked. Imagination, my dear listeners, is the workshop in which you forge your future. It is the canvas upon which you paint the masterpiece of your life. When you close your eyes and vividly imagine a scene, feeling it to be real, experiencing it with all your senses, you are not merely daydreaming. You are engaging in the most powerful creative act possible. For in that moment of imagining, you are stepping into a state of being. You are, in essence, becoming the person who has already achieved, already experienced, already become what you desire. And here's the crux of the matter. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match this new state of being. Think of it this way. If you were to wake up tomorrow morning as a person of great wealth, how would you feel? How would you carry yourself? What thoughts would occupy your mind? Now, can you see that by assuming that state, by living from that place of abundance and security, you are setting in motion the very forces that will bring that reality into your physical experience? This is not mere positive thinking or wishful daydreaming. This is a fundamental law of consciousness, as real and immutable as the law of gravity. Just as an apple must fall when released from your hand, so must your outer world conform to your inner state of being. But let us be clear. This power comes with great responsibility. For if you can create the life of your dreams through the power of your imagination, then you must also acknowledge that the life you currently lead is of your own making. Every circumstance, every relationship, every success or failure is a reflection of your past assumptions and beliefs. This realization can be sobering, even frightening. but it is also incredibly liberating. For if you have created your current reality, then you have the power to create a new one. The past does not determine your future, your imagination does. Now, some of you may be thinking, but I tried positive thinking before. I visualized and affirmed, and nothing changed. To you, I say this, the power lies not in the technique, but in the feeling. It is not enough to merely picture what you want. You must feel it to be real here and now. You must live from the state of its fulfillment. Imagine a man who desires financial abundance. He may visualize himself with great wealth, but if he continues to feel poor, to live in a state of lack and limitation, his outer world will continue to reflect that inner poverty. But if he can assume the feeling of wealth, if he can live from that state of abundance, not in some imagined future, but right here and now, then the outer world must by law begin to reflect that inner richness. This is the art of living from the end. It is the practice of experiencing your desire as an accomplished fact, of making your future dream your present fact. When you master this art, you hold in your hands the key to unlocking every door, to achieving every goal, to becoming every version of yourself you ever dreamed of being. But let us not mistake this for some sort of magical thinking. The outer world does not change overnight. The seed planted in the soil does not become a mighty oak in a day. There is a season for all things, a natural gestation period for every desire. Your task is not to make things happen, but to maintain that inner state of fulfillment, to nurture that seed with your unwavering belief and your consistent assumption of its reality. The how and of its manifestation are not your concern. Your only responsibility is to lift it to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. Now, some of you may be wondering about the role of action in all of this. After all, surely we cannot simply sit back and wait for our desires to manifest. You are right to ask this question, for action does indeed play a crucial role, but it is not the frantic, desperate action of someone trying to make things happen. Rather, it is the inspired action that naturally flows from your new state of being. When you truly live from the state of your fulfilled desire, you will find yourself naturally drawn to take actions that align with that state. Opportunities will present themselves, ideas will come to you, and you will act upon them not out of a sense of lack or need, but from a place of calm assurance and inner knowing. This is the difference between creating and making. When you try to make things happen, you are operating from a place of absence, of not having. But when you create from the state of already being or having, your actions are imbued with a different energy altogether. They become effortless, joyful expressions of your inner state, rather than strained attempts to change your outer world. Let us take a moment to truly absorb the magnitude of what we are discussing here. We are talking about nothing less than your ability to completely reshape your life, to step into a new reality of your own choosing. This video has found you at this precise moment because you are ready for this transformation. The very fact that you are hearing these words is proof that you have called this knowledge into your life. But knowledge alone is not enough. It must be applied, must be lived to have any real power. So I challenge you right here and now to choose a desire, something you wish to be, do, or have. Close your eyes for a moment and step into the feeling of that desire fulfilled. Experience it with all your senses. Feel the emotions you would feel if it were already your reality. Now open your eyes. The world around you may look the same, but I assure you it is not. For in that moment of imaginative power, you have set in motion forces beyond your current comprehension. You have planted a seed in the fertile soil of infinite possibility, and that seed must grow. Your task now is to water that seed with your continued assumption of its reality. When doubts arise, and they will, gently return to that feeling of your desire fulfilled. When the outer world seems to contradict your inner knowing, stand firm in your conviction. For the outer is but a shadow, a reflection of past beliefs. Your new assumption, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Remember, the universe is plastic to your deepest, most consistently held beliefs. It has no choice but to mold itself to your inner convictions. This is not something you need to force or struggle with. It is the natural, effortless operation of universal law. As you begin to live from this new understanding, you will notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new spring in your step, a sense of quiet confidence that wasn't there before. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. Gradually, you will see larger shifts. Circumstances will align in ways you couldn't have planned. People will enter your life who resonate with your new frequency. Opportunities will present themselves that perfectly match your deepest desires. And through it all, you will know with unshakable certainty that you are the creator of it all. This, my dear friends, is the true meaning of living a life of power and purpose. It is not about controlling the outer world or bending others to your will. It is about mastering your inner world, about becoming so aligned with your deepest desires that the outer world naturally conforms to your inner vision. As we continue on this journey of exploration and revelation, I want you to understand that what we are discussing here is not some new age fantasy or feel-good philosophy. This is the very mechanism by which reality operates. It is the underlying principle that governs the unfolding of all existence. Think for a moment about the world around you. Every man-made object you see, the buildings, the vehicles, the devices in your hands, began as a thought, an imaginal act. Someone somewhere held in their mind a vision of these things before they came into physical being. Your ability to create is no different. The only distinction is in the medium. Instead of steel and concrete, you are molding the very substance of reality itself. Now, I can sense that some of you may be feeling overwhelmed by the magnitude of this power. You may be thinking, if I am responsible for creating my reality, then why have I created circumstances I don't desire? This is a natural and important question to ask. The answer lies in understanding the nature of your subconscious mind. Your subconscious does not distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply accepts as true whatever you consistently impress upon it, whether through your habitual thoughts, your emotional states, or your deeply held beliefs. Many of us have spent years, even decades, impressing upon our subconscious mind's limitations, fears, and doubts. Is it any wonder, then, that our lives reflect these impressions? But here's the liberating truth. Just as you have impressed these limiting beliefs upon your subconscious, you can impress new, empowering beliefs. You can overwrite the old programming with a new vision of yourself and your life. This is the very essence of the transformation we are discussing. The technique is simple, but its consistent application requires dedication and persistence. Each night as you drift off to sleep, enter into a state akin to sleep but still conscious. In this drowsy, receptive state, imagine a scene that implies the fulfillment of your desire. Make it as vivid and as real as you possibly can. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the sense of accomplishment that would accompany the realization of your dream. As you fall asleep in this state, you are impressing this new reality upon your subconscious mind. You are planting the seed of your new life in the fertile soil of infinite possibility. Do this night after night, and you will begin to see changes in your outer world. Your subconscious mind, operating below the level of your conscious awareness, will begin to reshape your reality to match this new impression. But remember, this is not a one-time event. Just as you wouldn't plant a seed and then dig it up every day to check its progress, you must have faith in the unseen processes that are at work. Your only task is to persist in the assumption of the wish fulfilled, to live each day from the state of already being what you desire to be. Now let's address another question that may be arising in your minds. What about other people? Don't they have their own free will? How can my imagination influence them? This is a profound question, and it strikes at the heart of our understanding of reality. The truth is, what you perceive as other people are in your world playing the parts that you have assigned to them. This doesn't mean they don't have free will in their own realities, but in your experience, they will conform to your assumptions about them. If you consistently assume that people are kind and helpful, you will find your world filled with kind and helpful people. If you assume the opposite, that is what you will experience. This understanding places a great responsibility on your shoulders. For if everyone in your world is playing a part based on your assumptions, then it is up to you to cast them in the roles you wish them to play. See the best in others, assume the best of them, and they will rise to meet your expectations. But what of global events, you may ask? How can my imagination influence the larger world? Again, we must return to the fundamental truth. Your experience of the world is a reflection of your inner state. As you change your inner world, your perception and experience of the outer world will change. This doesn't mean you should ignore the challenges facing our world, but it does mean that the most powerful way to create positive change is to embody that change within yourself. Be the peace you wish to see in the world. Live from a state of abundance, and you will see abundance reflected back to you. As more and more individuals awaken to this truth and begin living from empowered states of being, we will see a collective shift in our shared reality. Now, I want to address something that many of you may be feeling at this point. You may be excited by these ideas, inspired by the possibilities they present, but you may also be feeling a sense of doubt. Can it really be this simple? You may be asking. If this is true, why isn't everyone doing it? The answer, my friends, is that while the principle is indeed simple, its application requires a fundamental shift in how we perceive ourselves and the world around us. It requires us to let go of many deeply ingrained beliefs and habits of thought. It asks us to take complete responsibility for our lives, to step into our power as creators. This can be a daunting prospect. Many people, when confronted with this truth, shrink back from it. They find comfort in the familiar, even if the familiar is not what they truly desire. But you, my dear listeners, are different. The very fact that this video has found you, that you are hearing these words, is proof that you are ready for this transformation. You are ready to step into your power as a conscious creator. You are ready to take control of your inner world, and by doing so, reshape your outer reality. This is why your life is about to change. This is why you find yourself at this pivotal moment, poised on the brink of a new way of being. But let me be clear, this is not about gaining power over others or manipulating the world to serve your ego. This is about aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe, about becoming a channel through which the infinite expresses itself. It's about living a life of purpose, of joy, of fulfillment, not just for yourself, but as an inspiration and a blessing to all those around you. As we near the end of our time together, I want to leave you with a challenge. For the next 30 days, commit yourself fully to this practice. Choose one desire, one change you wish to see in your life. Each night as you fall asleep, imagine it as vividly as you can. Feel it as real. Leave each day from the state of its fulfillment. Do this consistently, persistently, and with unwavering faith. Don't worry about the how or the when. Your only task is to live from the end, to be in imagination what you wish to be in reality. The universe will take care of the rest. At the end of those 30 days, reflect on your experience. Notice the changes, both subtle and profound, that have occurred in your life. Pay attention to the shifts in your perception, in your emotional state, in the way you interact with the world around you. This, my friends, is just the beginning. As you master this practice, as you become more and more aligned with your true creative power, you will find yourself capable of transforming not just your individual circumstances, but of contributing to the transformation of our collective reality. Remember, the world is waiting for you to awaken to your true power. It is longing for you to step into the fullness of who you truly are. For as you liberate yourself, as you begin to live from a place of joy, abundance, and love, you liberate those around you. You become a living example of what is possible, a beacon of hope and inspiration in a world that so desperately needs it. So go forth, my dear friends, with this newfound knowledge. Let it sink deep into your being. Let it inform every thought, every action, every moment of your day. Know that as you do so, you are setting in motion forces that will reshape your entire existence. Your life is about to change, not because of external circumstances, but because you are awakening to the immense power that has always resided within you. This video, these words have found you at precisely the right moment when you are ready to embrace this truth and step into your role as the conscious creator of your reality. As you move forward from this moment, carry with you the understanding that your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and use it with love. Remember that what you imagine and feel to be real must, by universal law, become your reality. This is not wishful thinking, but the very mechanism by which all of creation operates. In the coming days and weeks, you will begin to notice changes in your life. They may be subtle at first, a shift in your mood, a new opportunity presenting itself, a fortuitous encounter. Embrace these changes, for they are the first fruits of your new way of being. They are confirmation that you are aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. But do not stop there. As you see these initial changes manifesting in your life, let them fuel your faith and strengthen your resolve. Continue to live from the state of your wish fulfilled, even when the outer world seems to contradict it. For remember, the outer is but a shadow of your past beliefs. Your new assumptions, held with unwavering faith, will inevitably reshape that outer world. Finally, my dear friends, know that this journey you are embarking upon is not just for your own benefit. As you transform your own life, you become a beacon of hope and inspiration for others. You demonstrate what is possible when one awakens to their true nature as a creative force in the universe. And in doing so, you contribute to the elevation of all humanity. So go forth with courage, with faith, and with the unshakable knowledge that the life of your dreams is not just possible, it is inevitable. For you are the operant power, the author of your destiny, the creator of your reality. Your life is about to change because you have chosen to change it. Embrace this power and watch in awe as the world transforms before your eyes.